Hey everyone, welcome back to the Food Grower Podcast. This week it's just me, it's Jack from Jack's Patch, and I'm giving you 5 tips on permaculture. Tip number 1 is Permaculture beds. This is a type of lasagna bed. Permaculture is German. It was from Sepp Holzer in Austria. And what it is, when you've got especially in a tiered garden, as we're going down, we've got the depth of the beds. We've got logs at the bottom. Cardboard first, take out any perennial weeds. We lay our cardboard just like no dig. Then we're using larger logs at the bottom, another layer of like smaller twigs, and this is going to all break down over the years go by. We've got a layer of like straw or grass clippings, and you can use dried leaves. And then we've got a layer of manure and then a layer of finished compost on top. You can actually add another layer of straw as a mulch on top of that, and then you can start planting. The great thing about this, over time, it's going to be self-watering and self-fertilizing. As the wood and the organic matter in the bed breaks down, it's going to start to feed those roots. And then eventually all of that bed will be compost. But it's a great way to fill up a bed instead of using expensive compost. It's going to break down from using upcycled materials that are like free and local, and you can start to create nice deep beds so you can get nice healthy veggies, and that means healthy plant, healthy you, healthy planet. Cool. So tip number 2 is making your own compost. This has come from a 4-tier bay system, and we've pulled out this brand new fresh compost. Like you can't get better. To tell that you've got good compost is when you pinch it, it's nice and sticky and it forms like a snowball. This is going to be littered with microbes and bacteria and all the good minerals for your bed. You can't actually buy it this good. So to actually make your garden a lot healthier and feed that food soil web whilst upcycling your food waste, and by creating healthy soil, we're going to have healthy plants. So this garden is on a slope and we're doing a tiered garden, so a nice step down garden. So we're starting at the top. We're pretty much putting a top hat, belt and shoes onto the garden, and we're holding all that compost into the hill. So what that does is, if you just have a surface like this, when it rains, the water's going to drip down and actually strip and erode the soil. When you've got a step and with plants in that, it's going to take a lot longer for that water to get down that stepped garden. So as you can see here, you can see that the roots are in the soil. There's step down of like from the beds, flatten of the pathways, same with the beds, and then we go again. This is just a great way, but also what I like about this is the natural wood that we've used. So we've gone more natural using just tree stumps, and again, as that breaks down, it's going to bleed into the bed and feed it. So tip number 3 is making your own compost teas for the garden. Here we've got some nettles and comfrey tea. It smells horrendous. It takes about 2 weeks. So all this is nettles and comfrey sitting in water, and then we like to stir it just to bring out all the good nutrients into the water. The nettles is a mineral dense plant, and the comfrey is a big taproot that takes all the minerals out of the subsoil, puts it into its leaves, and then we put that in here, and then that minerals bleed into the water. We mix it in a watering can, 1 part of the compost tea to 9 parts water, so a nice dilution, and we want to spread that around the garden, and we're going to feed the soil all the minerals that it might be lacking or will need in those autumn and spring months. Tip number 4 is having a wildlife pond. So it's great, you can make these as big and small as you like. On my farm I have a quart of a whiskey barrel, so that's quite small, and I have plenty of them around the farm. This is a beautiful body of water fed by a natural spring, and what that's doing is having beneficial wildlife in here, then attracts the right stuff to have in your garden that's going to eat anything that's going to eat your plants. So you don't have a slug problem, you have a duck deficiency or a frog deficiency or a slow worm or a newt deficiency. So by building it, they come in and then they start being your pest management for the rest of the garden.
Okay.
So tip number 5 is flower, the power of the flower. So having flowers in your garden that have medicinal properties, but also properties to benefit the pollinators. So you want to be bringing in those good pests to get rid of the bads. And also the beautiful thing about growing flowers is make sure you grow ones that are edible.